Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week. On Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban, and thank you for joining us as you do each and every day throughout your work week on Comcast Channel 15 and on AT&T Channel 99. In addition, you can always find us as well on our website on civiccentertv.com, on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on YouTube at Civic Center TV. In addition, you can always take us with you on the radio, our broadcast live simulcast 5 days a week, and all of our other programming live simulcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 89.3 Lakes FM. Diane, it's been a nice week so far. There's some sun and a little bit of clouds so far. It's going to be a little bit of a break from that today with some rain and even some storms expected this evening.
That is true, Tyler. So today for Wednesday, we're starting off with a cloudy and a windy morning with the highs of 45 degrees for today. And it will start raining at around 11 a.m. and it will continue to rain throughout the day with thunderstorms expected to start at around 8 p.m. So it will be a very rainy day and it will drop down low to 35 degrees for lows today. But as we go into Thursday, we are going to similarly start with very cloudy morning. Clouds will start to make way to some sunshine with a partly cloudy sunshine in the late mornings and throughout the afternoon, and it will become clear, or it will become more sunny as we go throughout the day with the highs of 51 degrees and the lows of 38 degrees for tomorrow. Going into Friday, the weather is looking a little bit even better with a partly cloudy skies. No rain for Friday so far. With the highs are similar, just like tomorrow's weather, 49 of highs and 32 lows for Friday. So we only have rain expected today, hopefully not for the coming days and as we go into the weekend. Partly cloudy skies. It's going to be beautiful, but it's still going to be chilly as expected in fall.
Yeah, couldn't be more like fall-like weather, but a beautiful next few days ahead and through the weekend after we get through today's rain, and a little bit of storm activity also expected, as Diane said, later on tonight, right around 8 o'clock. We're expecting some thunderstorms in our local area. On sunnier side of things, it's been a great few days here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Yesterday, we celebrated Veterans Day at the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. We'll take you on a walk back through that and tell you how you can find that full celebration on demand for you right here and right now. Also, it was Election Day in our community. We'll go through election results in the cities of Keego Harbor and Orchard Lake, as well as elections affecting West Bloomfield Township. The Lakers go back on the football field on Friday night, taking on the Clarkston Wolves after a victory last week at Utica Eisenhower. We'll tell you about that. Plus, where you can find this week in Laker football, already premiering earlier on this week. Today is also a big day for sports in the Greater West Bloomfield community for women's basketball. 3 girls basketball stars from West Bloomfield High School will be signing their national letters of intent this afternoon. We'll tell you about those athletes and where they're headed next in just a little bit. Orchard Lake Road construction is complete and traffic is back to normal flow on all areas of Orchard Lake Road throughout our community. But with a new design of Orchard Lake Road comes some new rules to keep in mind from the Keego Harbor Police Department. We'll tell you about this middle lane, what you need to be aware of in terms of the rules for that middle lane on the newly designed Orchard Lake Road. Speaking of Veterans Day, on Veterans Day this Saturday, a local peace memorial is going to be rededicated. We'll tell you about that event, what you can expect at that event, and how you can attend on Saturday morning for that as well. Later on, we'll continue our conversation on the Affordable Connectivity Program with Deb Macon from the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission, and then we'll celebrate band students in the Bloomfield Hills School District at their annual Bandorama. Talk about a former Orchard Lake police officer who's been promoted in another police department, plus life-saving resources spread all throughout our local community that could help those affected by drug misuse and drug abuse in our local area at this time of the year and beyond. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up. Stay with us. The Splash Live will return after this short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. Take a break and tune in to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Find local municipal program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We had a great time yesterday morning. Of course, we didn't have the Splash Live, and that's never a good time, but we had a great replacement for it that ended up making up for us not being here. The Heroes Appreciation Breakfast, a great opportunity for our team at Civic Center TV and our entire community to get out to West Bloomfield Middle School, a fantastic location for a big event. Invite a bunch of our veterans from our local area in for a celebration of their service and the freedom that they provide us through their service, or have provided us through their service over the years. It was a great celebration. Major General Robert Smith III from the U.S. Army was the keynote speaker. We heard from Chief Greg Flynn, as well as Kelly Heyer and others from our local community to celebrate our veterans at this event. And it was great to get out there and of course, talk with all of our veterans in our local community and see people who are in leadership positions in our community serving our veterans as they have served us over the generations, and having an opportunity to thank them for their service, or as Major General Smith had even said in his speech, there's some congressional action underway that's suggesting to change that line we give to our veterans when we see them and thank them for what they've done for our nation, to instead of saying thank you for your service, thank you for our freedom. Instead, that was one of the key points that he made later on in his speech at yesterday's event. You can watch the full Heroes Appreciation Breakfast on our website right now, civiccentertv.com, on our homepage and on our on-demand page. And also check our program schedule for up-to-date times when you can view the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast all week long, all weekend long, and going forward on our program schedule, civiccentertv.com. Dayan, a really great opportunity for us to enjoy a day with our veterans. Here on your screen, you're seeing Tony and Pat Soma talking about the missing man table, to also recognize our prisoners of war and those missing in action or have been missing in action throughout the generations as a result of their service to our local area, and really, Dayan, connecting that service to the country to service to our local community.
Tyler, it was a great way to show our sincere gratitude, as you said, for our freedom, for us being here and safe in our, not just in the West Bloomfield area, all over the U.S. So we are very grateful for what they do, and it's a great way to show them our sincere gratitude. And it's a great way to listen to all their stories, to all their everything they have been through how did they achieve our freedom, if I must say. So we are very thankful and grateful for everything that they have been doing, and this is a great way to show it. Tyler, as you said, there's a lot of ways we can still, anybody in our community can still watch the Heroes Appreciation Day. They can simply go on our Facebook page. We are going to share the video from yesterday today. It's facebook.com/Civic Center TV 15. So it's at Civic Center TV 15. You can just search us, and we will be sharing videos of the Heroes Appreciation Day today. Stay on the lookout for that. Keep your notifications on for our page. Also, you can also check us out on Instagram at Civic Center TV. We will be sharing the link, and we always have that link to our website on the Instagram bio, so you can always click on that. And when you go into www.civiccentertv.com as well, you can check out the on-demand page, as you said, Tyler, or you can simply search it. It's a very easy website to navigate. Search Heroes Appreciation Day. You can find it right there. And one more place you can find this wonderful event at is on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. As you go into our profile, you can simply click the videos tab, and you can watch all our videos. It's right there. I think it's on the first line on our videos tab. So check it out. It was a great event and a great way to honor our veterans, not just by being there at the event, but also by watching their stories and recognizing all these stories and listening to them.
Yeah, West Bloomfield Parks and the West Bloomfield Police Department also having posted some great pictures, some snapshots of the event with all the volunteers and the vendors that were there to help support our local veterans and talk to them about services that are available in our local community. Plus, many of our leaders serving the veterans as volunteers at that event, including our Cable Commission Chairperson, Jennifer Taylor Boykins, who was one of the many volunteers helping to serve breakfast and make sure that our veterans were well fed and well hydrated and had their morning cup of coffee as they enjoyed the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. And you can enjoy it as well, again, as Dayan said, CivicCenterTV.com on demand as we speak. Tuesday was also Election Day in the greater West Bloomfield community, and while it may not have been a major election day with those big ticket items on the ballot, there were many important, very local items that were on the ballot yesterday. And right now, if you go to our website on CivicCenterTV.com, at the top of our homepage, we have those sliding images at the very top of the page that have links to important information like Laker football and so on all throughout the year. We have a link there right now to election results directly from Oakland County so that you can get the official results and all the tabulated numbers and percentages that you need on all the election items in our local area. But we'll go through them as well as we have those election results at this time. With all precincts reporting, we can report the results of these election races. In the city of Keagle Harbor, they had 4 things on their ballot. They had city council, and they had 3 proposed amendments or proposals, including a city charter amendment on the ballot. The first was marijuana by retailers in the city of Keagle Harbor. The proposal to allow a marijuana retailer by ordinance and prohibit establishments was voted down by a no vote in the city of Keagle Harbor. That particular race had gone 276 votes no to 240 votes yes to allow marijuana retailers by ordinance and prohibit establishments in the city of Keagle Harbor. An open stores ordinance in Keagle Harbor also failed on Tuesday night with 100% of precincts reporting 313 no votes compared to 197 yes votes, ultimately made that other proposal fail as well. Finally, the other marijuana-related item on the ballot in the city of Keagle Harbor was allowing cannabis store licensing by a chartered amendment, which would then make the city of Keagle Harbor create their own department to oversee licensing of marijuana facilities in the city of Keagle Harbor. 519 votes, 314 were in favor of not passing that amendment, so this amendment also failed on the ballot in the city of Keagle Harbor. Also, there was a city council election in the city of Keagle Harbor. Mayor Robert Kalman was reelected to city council on Tuesday night with 353 votes. And the next closest, and also Joel Ross was elected as well with 302 votes. There were only 2 positions available on the city council in this particular race, so both candidates, Robert Kalman and Joel Ross, running unopposed in Keagle Harbor, and are now both on the city council. Joel Ross replacing Ashley Atisha, who did not run for re-election at the expiration of her term. Congratulations to her on years of service to Keagle Harbor, and to Joel Ross on being the newest member of the Keagle Harbor City Council. Across town, right next door in the city of Orchard Lake Village, also a couple of available seats on their Orchard Lake City Council, but with 3 candidates, so it was a competitive election, and it was relatively close. Kelly Mandel voted onto the Orchard Lake City Council with 240 votes. Also receiving 240 votes was David Stoyer, who also was elected to Orchard Lake City Council. So congratulations to now Council Member-elect Mandel and Council Member-elect David Stoyer in the city of Orchard Lake Village. Finally on the ballot in the West Bloomfield Township, in select areas of West Bloomfield Township, because it was a Bloomfield Hills Schools proposal, was a Building and Site Sinking Fund millage renewal that passed with flying colors in West Bloomfield Township and in the Bloomfield Hills School District overall. 100% of precincts reporting both in West Bloomfield Township and all areas that are within the Bloomfield Hills School District, with 5,925 votes out of the 8,723 voting on this amendment. That Building and Site Sinking Fund millage renewal passed with flying colors for the Bloomfield Hills School District. You can get full election results both from within the greater West Bloomfield area and other surrounding communities from Tuesday's election by going to our website, civiccentertv.com. Right at the top of our page, we do have a link to the Oakland County unofficial election results. They haven't been certified yet by the county, so until they're certified, they are unofficial results. But these are the initial numbers as of 2 a.m. today, with 100% of precincts reporting all across Oakland County. Those are your election results from the Oakland County Clerk's Office, but we have a direct link on our website to get those election results in full on CivicCenterTV.com at this time. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, big news across the greater West Bloomfield sportscape, as we have a big football game on Friday night, and we have basketball stars signing their national letters of intent today, plus news from our local police departments on Orchard Lake Road, and more information on Veterans Day celebrations in our local community. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Follow us on Twitter at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Your West Bloomfield Lakers football team is back in the playoffs. Join us for live coverage of all postseason on the West Bloomfield School District's TV channel, WBTV. Comcast Channel 19 and AT&T Channel 90. The Lakers Friday as they face off against the Clarkston Wolves, exclusively on WBTV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
This is Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. In addition, you can join us on the web on civiccentertv.com, on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, and on YouTube at Civic Center TV as well. Those are all great locations to find us both live and on demand 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, on Civic Center TV. Check our programming schedule on our website as well on civiccentertv.com for more airing times all throughout your day. If you miss us in the morning, you can always find us in the afternoons and evenings for episodes as well. Big news on the football field last week as West Bloomfield was able to go on the road and take care of business against the Utica Eisenhower Eagles, defeating them 24-6. And with some circumstances going in the Lakers' favor in Dragon Country in Lake Orion, West Bloomfield's going to have a home game on Friday for the regional championship game against the Clarkston Wolves. The Wolves defeating Lake Orion in an upset in Lake Orion, the undefeated Dragons losing 37-38 after some late game heroics from Brady Collins and Brody Cosin and company from Clarkston, bringing the Wolves now to West Bloomfield after previously defeating the Lakers back in week 6, 36-44, thwarting a late comeback from the Lakers themselves. This is going to be a really interesting matchup, and it's a really interesting finish to the season for the West Bloomfield Lakers. Ideally, if all goes well, they have 3 more games. They got this week against Clarkston. They got the state semifinal next week. And then on Thanksgiving weekend, that Sunday night, they would play in the state championship game. But that all depends on the results of Friday's game. And even if we just leave it to Friday, this is a game that's chock full of so many stories. The history between these two schools, West Bloomfield and Clarkston, in recent years, with some dominance for a long time by the Clarkston Wolves. The Lakers, a rising program, got to the pinnacle, got to Ford Field, and lost to Clarkston back in 2017 in a 3-2 Division I Finals matchup. That's not 3 games to 2 games. That's 3 points to 2 points in what I always refer to as one of the best baseball games I've ever seen played with a football, when West Bloomfield had lost to Clarkston in that state championship game. And over the last several years since that, kind of been back and forth between these two teams. Some dominance from West Bloomfield, some dominance from Clarkston. This year, it looked like West Bloomfield had the numbers on Clarkston from a roster standpoint, from a record standpoint going into that game in week 6. And Clarkston came out with a head of steam, ran away with the game for most of it. West Bloomfield made a big late game comeback and ultimately lost that game by 8 points. One of just 2 losses for the Lakers on the season, with the only other team to defeat the Lakers being the Lake Orion Dragons, who are now eliminated from playoff competition. And if you go beyond this game, if the Lakers win on Friday night, their state semifinal opponent will either be Chippewa Valley, who they saw in week 1 and won on a very exciting final drive and 2-point conversion to win that game at the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic, or it will be Southfield A&T, an undefeated team that the Lakers blew out at home in what was supposed to be their home finale. And beyond that, if they make it to the state championship game, possibly another years-long rivalry rematch with the Belleville Tigers, who are 2-time defending state champions in Division I, are nationally ranked, and just ran away with their recent game against Saline last weekend, another one of the top teams in the state. So the storylines for Friday night's game are immense. It's going to be a really good game on Friday between the Lakers and Clarkston in clear conditions as well. We'll have the full game broadcast for you on WBTV, Comcast Channel 19, and AT&T Channel 99, as well as on 89.3 Lakes FM. Our coverage will begin at about 6:30 with This Week in Laker Football, and then the Laker pregame show after that, followed by the 7 o'clock kickoff. If you want to get some coverage of the Lakers and preview this game beforehand, This Week in Laker Football premiered last night in our community on Civic Center TV and is available on demand on civiccentertv.com. Also an exciting day today for basketball stars at West Bloomfield High School. 3 of the girls' basketball team's best players all going to be signing their national letters of intent to play college basketball next year at the next level in Division I. Summer and India Davis were initially committed to Michigan State University, but following a coaching change at MSU had reopened their recruiting and ultimately had committed to sign with the University of Georgia. Here you're seeing Summer and India Davis pictured on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com. They will sign with the University of Georgia this afternoon at West Bloomfield High School. And previously, Calvin, we go back to that previous picture, we also saw Kendall Hendricks, who will be signing her national letter of intent today to play at the University of Loyola Chicago, just 1 year after her sister Sydney had signed her national letter of intent at a signing day event with Florida A&M University. And these are three of the best players on this team. Well, all three had fantastic seasons last year as the Lakers were defending their state championship from the season before, ended up getting all the way back to the state championship game at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, ultimately losing in a close game to Rockford. Was a really competitive and physical game, and ultimately finishing as the runners-up. So now trying to go 3 for 3, making it to the state championship game, and hopefully 2 for 3 in bringing home the hardware as state champions. And they'll have a great opportunity to do that, and these three athletes are going to be fantastic at the next level as well. Summer and India, a dynamic duo, twin sisters, both averaging over 15 points per game and over 6 rebounds per game a season ago, both shooting right around 45% to 50% from the field. And Kendall Hendricks is a player I'm expecting to take a big jump this season. There were a lot of stars, there were a lot of people that needed to get the ball in their hands and make plays, particularly offensively last year. But Kendall Hendricks was a force in the paint for the Lakers, averaging 6 rebounds per game, was a very good scorer as well in situational scoring, 7.3 points per game, shot 44% from the field. And so she's going to have a big season this year for the West Bloomfield Lakers. And all three of these athletes, congratulations to them. They're going to have an opportunity to move on to the next level. Signing day this afternoon at the I Center at West Bloomfield High School. We'll be there. We'll get some coverage of that. We'll get some interviews with Kendall, with India, and with Summer, and you'll see those later on in the week on the Splash Live, as well as during our coverage of West Bloomfield Laker football. And Dayan, great to see our athletes, not just on the football field or on the soccer field, also having some success this season, but really across all of our sports at West Bloomfield High School, with today's signing day really focused on girls basketball.
We are very proud of them. I'm personally very proud of them as a girl, as a woman. I'm very proud of all these wonderful young ladies going ahead, transitioning from their high school to college level. I'm sure they will dominate, and they will make us so proud right here in West Bloomfield. Looking ahead, I would love to see how these wonderful young girls, whether it's India and Summer Davis or Kendall, how they are performing in different schools out of state, and we will be surely very proud of them. I'm 100% sure we're looking into the future. We will say, these are the girls that used to play in West Bloomfield, so congratulations to them. It must be very, very exciting. They did work hard throughout their high school years. They are great athletes, and they truly deserve the best to come.
Yeah, bright futures ahead for all three of those players. West Bloomfield's girls basketball program has been excellent over the past several years. Multiple appearances in the state championship game. They're playing some of their best basketball over the last couple of seasons, and Coach Darren McAllister has really been able to take this team to the next level, and expect next level game out of these Lakers each and every day. And they're a really entertaining team to watch play ball as well. If you love basketball, you're definitely going to want to get out to West Bloomfield High School and throughout the local area to see the West Bloomfield Lakers girls basketball team play this winter. And the boys basketball team also expected to have another good year ahead. So an exciting basketball season ahead, and winter sports season already underway at West Bloomfield High School. Across the greater West Bloomfield area, one of the biggest stories of late has been the reopening of Orchard Lake Road. Construction finally done on Orchard Lake Road, particularly in the Tri-Cities, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and a little bit of Orchard Lake Village, where for most of the summer and most of this fall, there has been at least congestion, but at the very worst, one lane, one way down that road, really made for some tough commutes for people in our community. Now all three of the main lanes and the left turn lane all open all across Orchard Lake Road. But with the construction complete, there are some new things to keep in mind about that middle lane in particular. And the Keego Harbor Police Department posting on their Facebook page earlier on this week about this construction being complete, saying that you should still use caution when driving through this corridor of our community, as the main portions of the construction is done. However, there is some continuing efforts to finish up the curbs and the intersections and so on that will require some construction workers to still be out in that area. It shouldn't be all too obstructive, if obstructive at all, to the roadway going forward. But just keep in mind, construction workers will be out there and safety precautions should be taken. And with the new look of Orchard Lake Road, with 2 lanes heading westbound and 1 lane heading eastbound with a middle turn lane that can be used for both directions of traffic. The middle lane is not to be used for anything other than making turns. A lot of times we see when there are divided roads that have a middle turn lane, that people may jump out into that turn lane and ride it down the road at a slow speed, waiting to merge into traffic. The Keiko Harbor Police Department really emphasizing that lane is never to be used as a travel lane, no matter how far traffic is backing up through the lane or down that road. You're not to use that middle turn lane as a means to sit there or even move slowly there and try to merge onto either side of Orchard Lake Road. You will be pulled over and you will be ticketed for that. Also, there's been a reduction to 1 turn lane from southbound Cass Lake Road to north and eastbound Orchard Lake Road. This is directly from the Keiko Harbor Police Department's post, saying, quote, "The turn does go into a single lane, and if you try it from the far right-hand lane, you may be forced into the curb or strike the car turning from the proper lane, in which case you'll be listed as at fault on the crash report." So definitely encourage you to go to the Keiko Harbor Police Department's Facebook page to read some of these new details in full, get familiar with the new way of Orchard Lake Road flowing in both directions, with 2 lanes for the majority of Orchard Lake Road on the westbound side and 1 lane for the majority of Orchard Lake Road on the eastbound side. Some new things to consider, and of course you can always get in contact with the Keiko Harbor Police Department for even more information. Simply go to their website, keikoharbor.org, or call the police department's non-emergency number at 248-682-3030, 248-682-3030. Diane, a great new opportunity for a safer commute in our local community for those in the Tri-Cities or navigating through the Tri-Cities. But with a new paradigm being set, there's also new considerations to be made in order to keep yourself safe on the road.
Tyler, first of all, congratulations to every commuter who passes by that road. I know it must be a lot more smoother now after the works has been done. And also, we must say that we have new infrastructure, better roadways, so we are very thankful to this roadworks that happened. We are especially, I'm very glad it finished, as I said earlier, Tyler, this week. I'm very glad that it was done right before winter, because we know that it gets a lot harder when it gets a lot more snowy and slippery. Other than that, we must say that people must take into consideration the police department's recommendations, and nevertheless, whether there is roadworks or not, we must be very vigilant, especially when we are driving on community roads. So it's not a highway, so we must be very vigilant, very careful, and again, take into consideration our police department's recommendations and tips.
Yeah, calling your local police department's non-emergency number in Keiko Harbor or in Sylvan Lake, as well as Orchard Lake Village too, if you have some questions about the rules on this newly designed portion of Orchard Lake Road. They'll be more than willing to have conversation with you, to answer your questions and make sure that you know before you're going out on that road and possibly making common mistakes we see on similarly designed roads that may not be legal in the city of Keiko Harbor or in the city of Sylvan Lake. Just something to keep in mind as you're driving down the beautifully new redesigned Orchard Lake Road in the Tri-Cities. Earlier this week, we, of course, talked about celebrating the Veterans Day holiday with the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. Another celebration of Veterans Day happening over the weekend. A really interesting story we introduced to you a few months ago on this program is the restoration of the Walnut Lake Women's Club Peace Memorial at the former Walnut Lake Elementary School in West Bloomfield Township. This here on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, you're seeing a picture of Bert Green, who's one of the volunteers in our local community that had rediscovered this memorial, kind of hidden behind some brush and environmental debris, and had been broken down, not necessarily broken down, but a little bit dilapidated also, and had been weathered over the years from a lack of maintenance. And he and another individual, Steve Kay, had worked to restore that memorial at the former Walnut Lake Elementary School, which is now set to become the future location of the Chaldean Community Center in our local area. And with that, when they found this memorial, when they learned about it, they had gone to the Chaldean Community Center's team and asked them, hey, can we keep this in this location? Would you be willing, as you're building your new facility, to not have us need to tear this down and remove this piece of history in our local community? And they, of course, agreed to keep it there. And on Veterans Day, they're going to rededicate this particular memorial in our local community. A memorial is going to be happening on Saturday at this location at 10:30 a.m., 2075 Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield. You'll hear from Bert Green and Steve Kay, who are behind this restoration. You'll also hear from West Bloomfield Township Supervisor Steve Kaplan, Clerk Debbie Binder, Representative Noah Arbit, a state representative for our local area, and others who will be speaking about this, as well as also talking about Veterans Day and recognizing our local veterans community. Diane, a really cool story from this side of our community as they restored this memorial that was, as you read on that screen, Calvin, if we can put that back up, that memorial has a very specific line on it about peace in our community. Can we put that back? There we go. They speak, I think, of perils past. They spoke, I think, of peace at last. One thing I remember, spring came on forever, and closed quote. That is what is read on that peace memorial. And Diane, great that we're going to be able to celebrate the full restoration of this and the future of this remaining there when it becomes the new location of the Chaldean Community Center, replacing the building that's been there and putting some new facilities there, but keeping a piece of history active and alive in the greater West Bloomfield community.
First of all, a huge thank you to the Chaldean Community Foundation for keeping this memorial. I was 100% sure that they will never say no, and it was a great initiative by Bert and Steve Kay to do all this, to go through all this. If I must say, it's not trouble, but to go through all this and talk to them, make sure that this memorial is kept where it is, and to rededicate it. That's also something that links us to the past, Tyler, and honors everyone who has worked and served so hard. Again, we say it again, to maintain our country's freedom, America's freedom, and the people's safety right here in the U.S. We would have never made it to where we are right now without those people who dedicate their whole life and probably died for serving this country and to serving our freedom, as they said in the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. A great statement, as you just read it, Tyler, speaking of the perils of the past and speaking of peace at last. So they did achieve peace after struggling so hard throughout the years. So we are very thankful for Steve and Bert and the Chaldean Community Foundation and West Bloomfield Township overall, whether it's Steve Kaplan and everybody who assisted Bert and Steve in this initiative.
Yeah, and it's going to be, again, that rededication and memorial for Veterans Day will be happening 10:30 a.m. sharp on Saturday, 2075 Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield. We'll reach out to Bert Green and others to talk about this further on as we get later on into the week and head toward the special event happening on Saturday in West Bloomfield Township. You may have heard about that in the past few weeks or months on our program by watching us online on CivicCenterTV.com. But for some in our community, they don't have reliable internet access or access to devices to get them onto the web. But there are programs in place through the Affordable Connectivity Program through the FCC, as well as Internet Essentials and other localized programs through our local cable providers that may help to provide that. We've done some informational segments recently on this, and after the break, we'll continue our conversation on the Affordable Connectivity Program with Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commissioner Deb Macon. Stay with us. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on CivicCenterTV.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at CivicCenterTV.com and click Schedule at the top of the screen. Your West Bloomfield football team is playoffs. Join us for live coverage of all postseason on the West Bloomfield School District's TV channel, WBTV, Comcast Channel 19, and AT&T Channel 99. All offseason, all Lakers, all the way to Ford Field. Laker playoff football exclusively on WBTV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. Your stories from your hometown on your community media 5 days a week on Civic Center TV and civiccentertv.com. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We continue now with a couple of special segments on the Affordable Connectivity Program. Reliable internet connection and access to devices is a major issue in our society today as the internet, as device usage becomes more of a critical part of our day-to-day life, whether it's in our classrooms, in our workspaces, or in our homes. Access to these programs is a must in our local area, including here in Oakland County and in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Joining us to talk about this issue on a more localized level is Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commissioner Deborah Macon. Deb, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. What a pleasure to be able to connect with you on this really important topic.
Yeah, I know this is something that you're very passionate about. You have been an advocate for the ACP over the last several years within the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission and beyond, because this is an issue that affects every single community in our local area. Access to affordable internet and access to devices is not something we're immune to, even in one of the wealthier counties in the region in Oakland County and one of the wealthier areas within that county in West Bloomfield.
All right, Tyler, absolutely. We're aware that there are families within West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Archer Lake, and Sylvan Lake that can benefit from all of the incredible opportunities that Rob spoke about. I was so excited to know that we're doing this. A number of months ago, I attended a local community event at Belle Isle, and there was someone who was telling everyone about the Affordable Connectivity Program, and that sparked an idea.
And it's a great idea, too, because getting this information out to people in the community, we talked about that with Rob. Not everyone's aware that there are these provisions in place within the federal government from the FCC and their partnership with cable providers locally, regionally, and nationally to participate in these kinds of programs. And that's what's really important here, Deborah, is getting this information out into the local community. How is the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission working on that beyond, of course, this great opportunity here with us on The Splash?
Well, Tyler, number one, this is it. Absolutely. This is why we exist. We are an essential service within Greater West Bloomfield. And I have to step aside for just a little bit and commend Comcast because their program, Internet Essentials, began years before the Affordable Connectivity Program. And even at that time, we began as a Cable Commission asking regularly in our monthly meetings over at Town Hall on the second Thursday evening to task our executive director, David Alberry, with reaching out to each of our local school districts and community-based organizations to let individuals know this was available. And we kept it top of mind in our very own meetings. And we know we have a highly engaged civic community that pays attention, and having us speak about this in public is an important role that the commission has.
And in terms of the importance of this issue, did you notice or in what ways did you notice that becoming even more paramount from the commission side in recent years, especially given the circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, as people were then having to go home for work, go home for school, and have even greater and even more reliable access to the internet with so many people on so many devices all at once.
You know what, Tyler, where the commission itself spends time making sure we keep our finger on the pulse of the community in terms of what our community needs. And a few months ago, we became even more aware that not everyone in Greater West Bloomfield has equal access to being able to afford something as essential as internet. It's for health, it's for education, it's for working, it's for civic life, it's for family life. So we took the information that we've become aware of, some of it provided by United Way, so that we knew that there are families that still have struggles to make ends meet. So let's bring in any opportunity we can find to be supportive. Again, this we see as an essential role at the Cable Commission table, and our goal is to be as supportive of residents and those who connect with Greater West Bloomfield as much as possible.
Yeah, and you mentioned the partnerships with groups like the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. They have partnerships too through Connect 313 that helps on this issue and on bridging the digital divides in our local area. We've reached out to Connect 313, had worked with them originally to have them as part of this segment. Some late scheduling conflicts came up, and we'll get them on the program very soon. But that is also a great resource at Connect313.org, in addition to fcc.gov and even gwbcable.org. And Deb, before we let you go, in terms of the local residents and their access to this program, or help getting access to this affordable connectivity program, how can the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission provide help to our local residents in West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake?
Tyler, more programming such as this, making sure we're current and bringing information to residents. We ourselves as commissioners stay closely aligned with our local units of government. Our executive director does the same thing. And you know what, Tyler, there's one more thing that I'd have to say. We'd love the community to actually understand why it's important to connect with your local cable commission. Our original charge was to help people navigate their customer service experience with Comcast, now Xfinity, and reaching out to the commission as a unique, quick problem solver to be able to help residents in ways that they may not have been able to navigate on their own. So it would be reaching us through our website or contacting Executive Director David Alberry directly.
And you can get in contact with the commission directly, including Dave Alberry, by calling them at 248-682-6532, 248-682-6532, both for questions on the Affordable Connectivity Program or other cable-related issues with Comcast and AT&T in our local area. Deb, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Stay connected with the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission on gwbcable.org. And to learn more about the Affordable Connectivity Program, visit fcc.gov/ACP. We'll take a break on The Splash Live. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media up next.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Take a break and tune in to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join Tyler Kieft and Dayan Chaaban as they go through headlines, events, and update you on the day-to-day in Oakland County. Catch us live weekdays 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media, Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We had a big celebration earlier on this week in the Bloomfield Hills School District. They had their annual Band-O-Rama event highlighting every single band member at every single school in the Bloomfield Hills School District in their main gym at Bloomfield Hills High School. Take a look at this as you're seeing a massive lineup of band students ready to perform on one side and their parents and families on the other to enjoy their concert at Bloomfield Hills High School. The event featured the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade bands from all elementary and middle schools, as well as the marching band, the jazz band, and the Black Hawk band from Bloomfield Hills High School. It was a massive event to, of course, get all these students synchronized into the gym, to have each student be able to perform with their respective band, and for everybody to get their chance to be heard and see their talents on display at Bloomfield Hills High School. The school district provided a big thank you and congratulations to their band directors, Rachel Lucas, Kendra Peterson, and Alan Posner, for orchestrating a great concert at Bloomfield Hills High School earlier on this week. Diana, a massive effort and really interesting event for Bloomfield Hills schools to end up having all their band students in one area all performing on the same night.
It looked like a very, very incredible event, Tyler, full of music and full of all these wonderful students in our school district. And I'm sure that whoever attended this, I wish I could, but whoever attended this really enjoyed listening to each and every single one of our students and our bands throughout our local, throughout the West Bloomfield School District. This is truly an incredible, incredible event highlighting each and every single band member and also the teachers, Tyler. So they wouldn't have done it without them. So it really looks like a great event.
Yeah, a great culmination of a fall's worth of preparation for a big concert. Everybody getting their chance to be featured, all bands from all elementary schools, for the 5th grade bands, from middle school for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade bands, and the high school and their variety of different bands, whether it's their marching band, their jazz band, or their more formal band, the Black Hawk band, also performing at that concert. More information can be found on band programs in the Bloomfield Hills School District at bloomfield.org. A big congratulations was given from the Orchard Lake Police Department to one of their former officers, Officer Dan Caldwell, recently promoted from officer to sergeant just a little ways away in Milford at the Milford Police Department. Orchard Lake Police wrote on their Facebook page congratulating now Sergeant Caldwell, saying, "We know that you will excel in your new role." And Diane, we've seen what often happens in our smaller police departments in our 4 communities, whether it's Orchard Lake, Keego Harbor, and Sylvan Lake. The great thing about those departments is that these officers get a lot of great experience and are able to have fantastic careers in law enforcement going forward. The unfortunate thing is that often what happens with these smaller police departments is that these officers do move on to full-time work or more extensive work in larger departments going forward. But great to see this congratulations from the Orchard Lake Police Department on someone who got their start in Orchard Lake, Officer Dan Caldwell, now to be known as Sergeant Caldwell in Milford.
Tyler, I'm sure every single person's past experience, especially these officers' past experience, shape who they become as an officer, even in these bigger departments. So I'm sure even Officer Caldwell had a great experience in the Orchard Lake Police Department. He learned a lot, and this is definitely something that truly helps as they transition into the bigger police departments, into more extensive and harder work. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Orchard Lake, because he did initially graduate from the Orchard Lake Police Department.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of movement around from our departments over the years, but even those in our local area going back to these departments or moving over to departments in our Tri-Cities and becoming leaders there later on in their careers as well. We've seen recently a transition from the West Bloomfield Police Department for Officer David McNeely moving over to the Orchard Lake Police Department. And so, while many get their starts in these departments locally and move on to bigger departments across our local area, many of them also come home later on, and hopefully someday we'll see now Sergeant Caldwell back in a leadership position in the Orchard Lake Police Department. Across our local area, as we head into the holiday season, this is also a tough time of the year for those that are struggling with mental health issues, and especially if those come into play in addition to substance use or misuse disorders as well. All the more reason that the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, in partnership with West Bloomfield Township, the library, the fire department, the police department, and other community organizations as well, have placed these Save a Life boxes all throughout our local area to help with some harm reduction tools being readily available for free to those in the community. That includes nasal Narcan, so you can help someone that may be experiencing an overdose, potentially reverse that overdose and get them to the medical care that they need. Fentanyl test strips if you believe someone is maybe having an overdose, or if someone unfortunately is misusing drugs, they can test those for fentanyl, which can make their use or misuse even more deadly. Also a Datera Med disposal bag, as well as resources for both substance use disorders and mental health issues, so that people have resources in our community about programs and other services that are available to them. Some of the locations of these Save a Life boxes are in public areas of our community, like fire stations 1 through 5 and fire station number 9, both branches of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, the Recreation Activity Center, and Town Hall, also at the Town Hall complex. And now they're also even moving on to other public locations in our local area as well. Often when I'm going back and forth from where I live into West Bloomfield to work at the TV studio, I'll stop in at the Powerhouse Gym in West Bloomfield. And recently I've seen one of these boxes is right outside of that location too, and then other locations too throughout the local area. So Dayan, not only are these resources being provided by public entities, but also in partnership with some of our local businesses too, who are helping the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities provide free resources to help prevent drug overdoses and to support those that may be in need of some mental health or substance use disorder services and resources in our local community.
That is true, Tyler. It is an initiative that was a combined initiative with the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities and the West Bloomfield Parks, the West Bloomfield Police Department, the West Bloomfield Public Township Library. So it's a lot of organizations throughout our community. They combined their efforts to create these ready-made Save a Life boxes to reduce, if I must say, the barriers of seeking help, Tyler. You never know when it might happen. And when we say drug abuse, we don't necessarily mean the drugs that are bought in the black market. We also mean the drugs that we have at our homes, our prescription drugs that we got through our doctors. We might get addicted to them. A lot of people do get addicted to them, sadly. And these types of initiatives are what helps these people get over them. And it makes, again, as I said, it makes these resources ready available for people throughout our community in different places. And they are always going to be stocked, as the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities mentioned when they first started this initiative. So it's great. We must know where these locations are, because we never know when we might need to help somebody in need.
Yeah, more information on where these Save a Life boxes are located, not just in West Bloomfield, but throughout the local area, can be found at achcmi.org. Before we leave you on this rainy Wednesday in the greater West Bloomfield community, let's take a look at some better pictures on sunnier and happier moments from throughout the greater West Bloomfield community, as we see some pictures from in Keego Harbor. This is a Keego Harbor morning on the water from Keith Van Zyl on Facebook, a calm and peaceful Monday morning, plus other pictures also from throughout our local area that we've featured on the Splash Live in recent months. If you have pictures from throughout our community this fall, as we get into the foliage and we get into then the snow on the ground in the coming months, send us your pictures over social media on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and on our Instagram, and you might just get those featured right here on the Splash Live. Send us your pictures or tag us in them on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on Twitter and on Instagram at Civic Center TV. And if you have a video from throughout our communities too that may be interesting to feature on the Splash Live, you can always tag us in those on YouTube at Civic Center TV. Plenty more of your stories from your hometown on your community media all week long. You can always keep up to date with us on Civic Center TV and stay with us right here on the Splash Live. Your stories from your hometown on your community media continuing very soon.